What if I told you that a common forest harbors a biological specialist for your liver and eyesight? This vibrant orange fungus, famously untouched by worms, owes this remarkable resilience not to chance, but to an intricate chemical defense system. In this installment, we will delve into the composition of the chanterelle, exploring everything from its unique chinomannose to its rare vitamin D2 content. You will receive a clear protocol on how to identify the genuine article, how to avoid poisoning yourself with a deceptive look-alike, and most crucially, how to prepare chanterelles without obliterating their medicinal potency through excessive heat. The archive is now open. Subject: Chanterelle. Part 1. The Golden Landing. Where does a master of survival reside? The common chanterelle, Cantharellus cibarius, is far more than just another woodland mushroom to be plucked and placed in a basket. Within our archives, it is classified as one of the planet's most successful and robust biological entities. To comprehend its inherent strength, one must first examine how and where it thrives. The chanterelle is a true cosmopolitan. Its golden troops have established footholds across vast territories, from the cool, mist-shrouded coniferous forests of Scandinavia to the sun-drenched oak groves of southern regions. Yet, despite its widespread distribution, this fungus is a masterful strategist, never growing in a haphazard manner. The first crucial aspect to understand about chanterelles is their profound aversion to solitude. Chanterelles are team players, true champions of collective effort. If, while strolling through the woods, you spot a single vivid orange cap peeking through the verdant moss, do not be quick to move on. Pause, observe more closely, and gently push aside fallen needles or last year's leaves. It is highly probable that a whole family of chanterelles is concealed near the first one you noticed, a second, a fifth, a 10th. They seem to blanket the forest floor like a net, forming what is colloquially known as fairy rings, or, as biologists term it, a developed mycelial network. The secret to such tenacious vitality lies in the intimate alliance the chanterelle forms with trees. This process is termed mycorrhizal. Chanterelles select the strongest trees as partners: pine, spruce, oak, or beech. This is not a parasitic relationship, but rather a fair business agreement refined over millions of years. The fungus, through its delicate hyphae, envelops the tree's roots, acting as an auxiliary pump. It extracts moisture and valuable minerals from deep soil layers that the tree itself could never reach. In return, the tree shares sugars and carbohydrates with the chanterelle, products it generates through photosynthesis in sunlight. This symbiosis renders the chanterelle exceptionally resilient. It receives nourishment from its arboreal giant, rendering it immune to temporary hardships. However, what truly astonishes researchers is its response to meteorological caprices. Most fungi are exceedingly delicate. Intense heat causes them to dehydrate. A week of torrential rain can lead to them rotting on the spot, turning into a pulpy mess. Chanterelles, however, possess a unique cellular structure. When drought strikes, they do not perish but simply enter a dormant state. They effectively press a pause button within their organism, halting growth and waiting. As soon as the first dew appears or a gentle rain falls, the chanterelle reactivates and resumes its growth as if nothing had occurred. It can persist in the forest for weeks, remaining fresh, firm, and vibrant, while other fungi around it manage to be born, age, and vanish. When you observe a cluster of chanterelles, you are witnessing not merely sustenance, but the outcome of an organism perfectly attuned to its environment. It is a biological fortress, adept at befriending the strong, defending against the weak, and awaiting the opportune moment for growth. We commence our examination of this subject with its habitat and habits precisely to understand that such outward stability cannot exist without a formidable internal foundation, which we shall dissect in the subsequent segment. Part 2. The Secret Weapon. Why are chanterelles never infested? Anyone who has ever gathered mushrooms is familiar with that pang of disappointment. You find what appears to be a perfect, sturdy porcini or a handsome birch bolete. You cut it, only to discover a network of tunnels and legions of tiny forest pests within. In the realm of fungi, this is entirely commonplace. The flesh of a mushroom represents a valuable nutritional resource, a source of constant contention in the forest. Flies, beetles, slugs, and their larvae eagerly await any opportunity to inhabit a succulent cap and commence their feast. All fungi, to varying degrees, capitulate to this onslaught. All, that is, except the chanterelle. In nature's archive, the chanterelle is documented as a zone of absolute sterility. You can traverse hundreds of acres of forest, examine thousands of specimens, yet you will never find a worm-eaten chanterelle. It may be old, misshapen, or slightly desiccated, but internally it will always be perfectly pristine. This appears almost magical, but in reality, it is the product of a highly precise biological weapon integrated directly into the mushroom cells, and the name of this weapon is chinomannose. What exactly is it? Chinomannose is a special polysaccharide substance that is entirely harmless to humans. However, for any forest parasite, it is fatal. The mechanism of its action is so sophisticated that human technologies are still attempting to replicate it. Unlike chemical toxins that merely poison an organism, chinomannose acts selectively and with extreme efficacy. When an insect larva attempts to nibble even a tiny piece of a chanterelle, this substance instantly penetrates its system and blocks nerve impulse transmission. The parasite simply freezes. Its nervous system is deactivated, but the chanterelle has advanced even further in its defense. Most natural antibiotics or protective agents target only adult insects, leaving their offspring unaffected. The chanterelle, however, strikes at the very root of the problem. Chinomannose possesses the unique ability to dissolve the protective shells of parasite eggs. It literally eradicates future generations of pests before they even have a chance to hatch. This constitutes a complete territorial cleansing. It is precisely for this reason that insects have learned, on a genetic level, to steer clear of chanterelles. For them, it is not food, but a lethal trap from which there is no escape. But herein lies the most fascinating aspect for us. When we consume chanterelles, this molecular special forces unit enters our bodies. We are not insects. Our nervous systems are structured entirely differently. Thus, chinomannose poses no danger to us. On the contrary, it begins to function as a gentle, natural cleanser. It aids the body in combating unwelcome invaders that may have been subtly undermining our health for years, remaining undetected. This is a natural detox that operates quietly, effectively, and without the side effects often associated with pharmaceutical preparations. However, this secret weapon has one Achilles heel that almost no one is aware of. Chinomannose is an exceptionally delicate and fragile substance. It is susceptible to high temperatures and common table salt. The moment you toss chanterelles onto a scorching pan or submerge them in a salty marinade, the chinomannose is instantly destroyed. The mushroom remains delicious and aromatic, but its primary weapon vanishes forever. You receive mere food, but forfeit the protection. Understanding this secret is the first step towards transforming a casual forest excursion into a genuine health restoration operation. And in the next installment, we will examine what other treasures are hidden within this golden flesh and how they help our bodies function like clockwork. Part 3. The Service Center. How chanterelles repair our bodies. If chinomannose represents the chanterelle's outer shield and sword, then its internal composition is a veritable high-tech laboratory for human body restoration. In our archive, this subject is listed as one of the most potent natural instruments for regulating liver function. And the leading role in this process is played by a substance with the complex name ergosterol. Let us translate this into simple terms. Our liver is the body's primary filter, working around the clock to cleanse the blood of toxins, waste products, and anything extraneous that enters us from our urban environment. Over time, this filter becomes clogged, its cells become fatigued, and its efficiency declines. Ergosterol, therefore, acts as a sort of service engineer for liver cells. It does not merely boost their performance, it helps them regenerate at a profound level. Research indicates that chanterelle components can gently cleanse bile ducts and assist the liver in restoring its structure. This is particularly vital in the modern world, where the burden on this organ is colossal. Chanterelles operate with extreme delicacy. They do not substitute for the liver's function, but rather provide it with the resources to resume independent operation. However, the chanterelle's restorative functions do not end with detoxification. Consider its color. That vibrant, almost luminous orange hue. In nature, such a color is rarely accidental. It signals an incredibly high concentration of carotenoids. You have likely heard that carrots are beneficial for vision due to their beta-carotene content. Well, chanterelles contain a comparable and sometimes even higher amount. However, there is a crucial nuance. In mushrooms, these compounds are bound in a matrix that is far more effectively assimilated by our bodies. Vitamin A, which is formed from these carotenoids, is a foundational element for the health of our eyes. It improves night vision, protects the retina from fatigue during screen usage, and supports the overall health of mucous membranes. Furthermore, the archive documents another rare component, trametenolic acid. This is a specific compound that scientists discovered in chanterelles relatively recently. Its primary function is to assist the immune system in combating viruses that attack liver tissues. It acts as a molecular marker that highlights threats to the immune system, prompting it to react more swiftly and precisely. And we must not forget the rarest treasure hidden within the chanterelle, vitamin D2. Most people are accustomed to obtaining it from fish or through sun exposure. However, chanterelles are a rare botanical source of this sunshine vitamin. It is critically important for bone strength, nervous system stability, and even good mood. The result is a remarkable picture. Chanterelles are not merely a forest delicacy, but a comprehensive product that simultaneously purges us of excess, regenerates our filters, and replenishes us with deficient vitamins. It is a service center that nature has packaged in a beautiful golden form. However, for this center to function, two conditions must be met: correctly identifying the specimen in the forest and preparing it properly. And in the next installment, we will address the most critical issue of safety: How to distinguish benefit from danger. Part 4. The Safety Protocol. How not to bring home a poser. Knowledge of biochemistry is useless if an impostor finds its way into your basket. The chanterelle has a doppelganger, the false chanterelle, Hygrophoropsis aurantiaca. It is not lethally poisonous, but can cause severe gastric distress and completely ruin the taste of a dish with its bitterness. To ensure your quest for health does not turn into a problem, let us activate the comparison protocol. Remember these 3 golden rules from the archive. Examine the underside of the cap. A true chanterelle does not have gills beneath its cap. What you will see are thick, forked folds that appear to grow directly into the stem, forming a unified whole. False chanterelles invariably have thin, numerous gills that are distinctly separate from the stem. Test for sterility. This is the simplest and most reliable test. As we have already established, true chanterelles are never worm-ridden. If you find a mushroom that resembles a chanterelle but shows signs of insect tunnels or holes within, it is a fake. Leave it in the forest. Assess color and aroma. A genuine chanterelle has a uniform color, ranging from egg yolk yellow to light orange, and it smells of fresh fruit or apricot. The false chanterelle is typically brighter, with a nearly red center to its cap, and possesses an unpleasant, earthy aroma. The information in our archive is provided for studying nature's capabilities. Mushroom foraging demands 100% certainty. If you harbor even a shadow of doubt, do not collect the mushroom. Part 5. The Activation Technology. How to preserve forest power. Nature's archive follows a strict rule. The benefit derived from a subject is not dependent on how much you consume, but on how you prepare it. Chanterelles are an incredibly capricious tool. As we have already discovered, their primary treasure, chinomannose, is exceptionally sensitive to external influences. The primary adversary of the chanterelle is high temperature. When heated above 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, the molecular bonds of chinomannose and ergosterol begin to break down. The same occurs upon contact with common table salt. If you fry chanterelles with potatoes or pickle them, you will achieve a superb dish, but you will completely obliterate their molecular shield. You will consume tasty fiber, but you will lose the liver cleansing and regenerating effect. To activate their beneficial properties, chanterelles must be dried at a temperature not exceeding 40 degrees Celsius. After drying, the mushroom transforms into a concentrate of beneficial compounds. In addition to the substances we are already familiar with, 100 grams of dried chanterelles contain an impressive array of minerals: potassium, responsible for heart rhythm; copper, essential for iron absorption; and zinc, without which immune function is impossible. Chanterelles are also rich in selenium, a potent antioxidant that protects our cells from premature aging. How to effectively utilize this resource? If you are using dried chanterelle powder, the standard prophylactic dosage for an adult is 1 level teaspoon per day. The powder can be added to porridges, salads, or sauces, but only those that have already cooled to room temperature. A course of this natural service typically lasts approximately 1 month. Protocol of limitations. Contraindications. Despite all their benefits, chanterelles have their limitations. Firstly, they are not recommended for children under 3 to 5 years of age, as a child's digestive system is not yet equipped to process fungal chitin. Secondly, during pregnancy and lactation, any potent natural remedies should only be used after consulting with a physician. And of course, individuals with acute stomach ailments or kidney insufficiency should exercise caution. Chanterelles are living proof that nature has already created everything necessary for our protection. We do not need to invent complex chemical formulas. We simply need to learn how to properly utilize what grows beneath our feet. We are closing the Chanterelle file, but our journey through the archives is just beginning. Next time, we will turn our attention to a subject that defies winter's chill. It ripens earlier than all others, when other plants are just stirring, and harbors the secret of potent protection for your blood vessels. We will explore honeysuckle, the season's first berry, capable of rebooting your system after a long winter. The archive continues its work until our next sector.